Hey guys, it's Christy and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to be doing the high-end makeup tag. So before we get into it, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel before you leave. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy, and let's get into it. Okay, so this video was created, I believe last year, by Jenna Fraze and Kelly Gooch, who are two of my very favorite creators. So I will leave them linked down below. And then most recently I saw this from Makeup Molly and Kelly at K Bella Beauty, so I'll also leave their videos down below as well. I also love both of them. So let's just hop right into it. So the first question is, if you could only use one high-end brand, what would it be? And this one is so hard for me because my first instinct is Charlotte Tilbury. She's got a full range and I love her products so much. But then if I think about it a little bit more, I also want to say NARS because they have my favorite foundation of all time. And they also have a full range. Their concealers are cult favorites. I tested their eyeshadows this year and I love them. They have great lip products. I think the part of me that rides so hard for high-end makeup is really telling me Charlotte Tilbury. I really think she's my favorite brand, but if I could only use one forever, practically, it has to be NARS. It does. I can't live without the light reflecting foundation. Their concealers I like better. I just like their complexion products better. And I know I love the bronzer. Their blushes are famous. And then this year I also fell in love with their eyeshadows, so I guess it has to be NARS. Yeah, I really was not expecting that. I thought for sure Charlotte would win out on that one. What's the most underrated high-end brand? And I actually want to give this one to Lawless because while I do feel like the brand is starting to get a lot more attention, I feel like it deserves more. So I really love the Glam Guard setting spray, the lip gloss. This does get a lot of hype, but it's that good. I am absolutely in love with the lip liners. I actually finished one from Lawless. And then their eyeshadow formula is also really good. It's a clean, talc-free brand. I have the baby one and it's not a color story I reach for that often, but whenever I do, I really enjoy it. I like working with the formula. And then very recently I picked up the One. So this is one that is not going to be in my year-end palette ranking because I just have not used it enough to really know. But I've really been enjoying this so far. I love the shades in here. I like the formula quite a lot. It's almost like a softer version of the MAC shadows. I also have a palette full of MAC singles and the formula reminds me a lot of that. So like the shimmers aren't the most sparkly shimmers, if that makes sense, but they're just so easy to work with. They're very high quality. I've really been enjoying it and I feel like this brand deserves a lot more hype than it gets. I think she's starting to get there with especially with the lip gloss that everybody loves. Yeah, I just think she makes such high quality products. I have not yet tried a product from the brand that I did not like. I know she does have a foundation. I haven't really tried complexion products except for blushes, but overall, I just feel like the brand deserves a lot more love. Okay, number 3, what's the most overrated high-end brand? And for this one, I chose ABH. So I like the brand a lot. I do. It's just, if we think back 5 years ago, they were the brand to be. They were the it brand. And they've definitely fallen off in recent years. And I'm also somebody who, when they release a new palette, I do pick it up to review right away. I just do. I know people want to see it and I do enjoy their products. I enjoy their formula. They did reformulate their lip products this year. I do enjoy the lip liners. I like the Luminous foundation. It's not my tippy top favorite, but I do like it. The Magic Touch concealer is really good. And then other than that, it's just the eyeshadows, which are good, but it's not my most favorite formula. It's a very powdery formula. They're great. I don't know if they're worth the hype that they get. I feel like they do get too much hype. I really do. So I feel like it's ABH. What is your favorite high-end product under $50? And this is a new favorite, but this is the Merit Signature Lipsticks. I love these so much. This is what I'm wearing today. There is something about this formula This is so lightweight. It looks so beautiful. It really just smooths out the lips, and it's so lightweight that you kind of forget you're wearing a lipstick. It just feels like you have a lip balm. And these really do last all day as well. It's unbelievable. I love these lipsticks so much. I keep raving about them, but I'm definitely going to be buying more shades of these. I love them. Okay, the next question. What is a hidden gem from the high-end category that no one talks about? And I'm actually going to give this to the Lawless lip liners. I love these lip liners. Like I mentioned, I finished one. I did have it in my project pan just because I noticed that I was using it up so quickly. So it was kind of one of those items that I put in because I know I can use it up, and it kept me feeling motivated to keep working on my project. It's just one of my very favorite lip liner formulas. It's that perfect hybrid between, it's a pencil liner, so it is going to be a little more dry but very long wearing, but also just not uncomfortable and tug on the lips. It sticks around a long time. It looks so beautiful. I had the shade Pink Sand, and it was one of my absolute favorites. It's definitely one I do plan on repurchasing. It's so good, and I hear absolutely no one talk about the Lawless liners. I hear everybody talking about the gloss, but nobody talks about the lip liners, and they're so good. What's your favorite high-end foundation? Without a doubt, the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. This foundation is essentially what made me pick NARS as the brand I would choose if I could only have one brand forever, because I love this. This is what I have on today, and every time I wear this foundation, I love how my makeup looks. I love how my skin looks. I love how this looks when I put it on. There's never any doubt that my makeup is going to turn out the way I like. So I love this. What products do you tend to buy more at the high-end price point? And this could be a category. Eyeshadow. 100% eyeshadow. Foundations, I have a good range of drugstore and high-end. For the longest time, my favorite foundation was a drugstore foundation. And before that one, it was another drugstore foundation. But eyeshadows are where I get really picky. So while I do think my makeup collection as a whole definitely leans a little bit more high-end, I do have a lot of drugstore as well. And I have a lot of picks in all the categories, but my drugstore eyeshadow collection is very small and very curated. I have quite a few ColourPop palettes. I have the Maybelline Nudes of New York, and then I have some Milani. And recently I discovered the Oma by Sharon C, which I absolutely love. I think that is a phenomenal formula. And then you have BH Cosmetics. They're wonderful too, but there just really isn't a ton of good drugstore eyeshadows for me. If you look at my eyeshadow palette collection, I have a lot more. I just feel like the drugstore has not yet caught up when it comes to eyeshadows. For some reason, I don't know what it is. I just feel like they haven't got there. ColourPop for the most part has. Occasionally they'll have a miss, but ColourPop really knows what they're doing. Overall though, I just feel like it is really tricky to find really high quality eyeshadows at the drugstore. I'm not going to go to the drugstore and pick out something from Revlon or Rimmel or like even NYX for that matter. I do have some single shadows from NYX that I love, but I don't go nuts for their palettes. I don't feel a pull toward CoverGirl or even Physicians Formula palettes. I don't feel a pull. So for that reason, I definitely lean very high end when it comes to eyeshadow palettes. And it's also just one of my favorite parts of my routine. It's the part that takes the longest for me because that is the creative part of my routine. So, and because it already is the thing that takes the longest, I need high quality products so that I don't get frustrated. That's my long-winded answer to that one. Number 8, what high-end brand do you think is overpriced? Without a doubt, Pat McGrath. Really do enjoy Pat McGrath, but yeah, she's overpriced. I recently tried out the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Foundation. It retails for 92 Canadian dollars. I ended up getting this on a Black Friday deal for like 37, and I think that's a fair price point. I do not think this is worth $92. It's a good foundation. I like it well enough. I just don't think it's worth that. It's got that heavy frosted glass bottle. So does the House Labs. The formula's fine. It's not $92 fine. The concealer, it's a little more comparable to others at Sephora. The Mothership palettes retail for $129 or 175 Canadian for 10 shades. I get the packaging is really what you're paying for, but I don't know. I just don't think it's necessary. I like Pat McGrath. I love her products. It's just that they're really overpriced. They really are. She released some Quints for holiday that are a lot more affordable, and I like the formula in those better than I like the motherships. So I would rather pay less for less luxurious packaging if the product is better. That's just my thoughts on those. Like, I love palettes with cardboard packaging. It does not bother me one bit. So I do just think while her products are phenomenal, they're just a little too overpriced. Number 9, what is your favorite high-end limited edition product? And I actually gave this one to Sultry. So I know I said this brand is overrated, and I mean that, but this palette is one that is just so beautiful. First of all, I always rave about the outer packaging. I love this so much, but inside you have this gorgeous cool tone color story that just looks so beautiful. They're such high quality. Always love the looks I come out with. They definitely lean a little more on the grungy side, but when I compare this to, say, their new Rose Metals palette, it's not even close. Formula-wise, this color story is grungy without being too much so and without confusing my brain and making me feel like I have no idea what to do. This is just such a beautiful, beautiful color story. And I love this palette so much. I wish they would re-release it. I don't understand why it was limited edition, but this is definitely the best limited edition palette. I try not to buy a lot of limited edition simply because it's harder for me to use on my channel. So I don't buy a lot of limited edition, but that's one that I have to give it to. Number 10, what's the best high-end eyeshadow formula? And I'm gonna give that to Natasha Denona. I love her palettes. I purchase pretty much every palette she releases. I love them so much. I think they're such high quality. A little overpriced, yeah, but the quality's good. The quality's so good. I love her eyeshadow formula so much. It never lets me down. It never disappoints me. I do enjoy the Huda Beauty larger palettes. I think she does a pretty good job as far as textures go, but honestly, if I don't know what to reach for that day, I'm probably going to reach for Natasha because that is just my favorite formula. She's definitely my favorite formula. I know I've heard a lot of people say her brand is overrated. Maybe, but I love everything she comes out with, and I love her palettes. They're just easy. They definitely have my heart. Her palettes are some of my very, very favorite in my entire collection. So I gotta give it to Natasha. Number 11, what's the worst high-end eyeshadow formula? And without a doubt, Too Faced. I don't say that to be mean, it's just I find that they're so inconsistent. I would also say Artist Couture, but I've only tried one palette from them. And I would definitely say that's a terrible formula, but I've only tried one palette from the brand, so I can't fully commit to that one. But Too Faced is just so inconsistent. It's astronomically expensive. Like, their price point is right up there with Huda Beauty, Natasha Denona, and their quality is nowhere near that level. So I've got to say it's Too Faced. Typically when you get their tin packaging, the formula is a little better, but then this year they released the Better Than Chocolate palette, and that was quite disappointing. They had the Too Femme eyeshadow palette this year. That was terrible. I enjoyed their Pumpkin Spice palette from a couple years ago, but again, I can even admit that's not the best formula. I gotta give it to Too Faced, and I don't say that to be hateful. They started out so strong with the Sweet Peach palette and their earlier chocolate palettes, but I feel like as time has passed, other brands have been improving their formula and getting better and better and better, and Too Faced just hasn't. Number 12 is a high-end brand you used to love but aren't crazy about anymore. Yeah, I feel like I'm being kind of mean, but I would also give that to Too Faced because back in the day, their palettes, they were such novelty items, but they were also just such high quality. So everybody wanted to own them, and it was just such a fun brand. And I'm just not at all interested anymore, just given that I don't think they have good products. I don't think they're good quality, and I just don't love them anymore. Number 13 is a high-end product you didn't expect to like but totally wowed you. Okay, and this is kind of funny to be honest, and that is going to be the Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wands. I know, these have been going crazy online, and at first I was like, there's no way it can be that good. But I recently did pick up a holiday duo. Keep in mind, I do not recommend picking up this duo. Just pick up the full-size products. These are teeny tiny. but if you can get the Duo on sale, maybe that's worth it. So the Duo came with the blush in Pinkgasm and then the highlight in Spotlight. I'm not a huge cream blush, cream highlighter fan. I do have some products I enjoy, but for the most part, I just really, really thoroughly enjoy powders. And then more specifically, the highlighter wand is what caught me. This is what I'm wearing today. I actually love this so much. I love the way it blends right into the skin. I love the way it gives you that beautiful glow from within. You can tell you're wearing makeup because it can really stand out, but I just love the way it looks on the skin. It's unbelievable. Just was not expecting to love this so much. It does have that sort of puffball applicator, and I just thought there's no way a cream highlight is going to make me fall in love, but it did. I really love this. The blush is good too, but this is the one that is really special and that I will repurchase. I like it better than most of my powder highlights. It's not at all glittery. It just gives such a beautiful highlight to the skin. So it's got to be this one. I love it. Okay, and the last question is favorite high-end eyeshadow palette right now. And I'm going to skip that one because my eyeshadow palette ranking is coming very soon and the answer is in there. So that is it for me today. Thank you so very much for watching. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. I do upload at least 3 new videos every single week. Thank you again so very much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!